What's going on, peeps? Happy Friday. Man, I am losing track of time and dates and stuff and all over the place. But man, I'm ready to talk some basketball. We got the NFL draft this week, but people are underlooking the NBA draft. But before we hop into it, let's introduce everybody. First, we have the heart of the city, Mr. Free Smoke Saturday, but in this case, it's not Fireball Friday, it's Free Smoke Friday. JMO, what's going on, man?
What's good, man? I just gotta say, man, that Sekou dunk in your intro is just vicious. Like, I mean, he destroyed that man. What's good, everybody?
Yeah, I'm working on the intro there, Joey. I gotta mute my mic, I think, when I do it, but it's neither here nor there. And then last but certainly not least, Nomus, we gotta get you a nickname. I don't got you a nickname yet, but what's going on, Gnome?
Not much, man. Everybody, I would like to rename today Free Sip Friday. You know what I'm
You
saying?
almost
This
said you
day,
almost said Saturday. You been drinking yet?
no, I know. You know what? No, but I'm thinking about it, right? So that's why I call it Friday because you know what? We all work. Last day work, it's time to sit.
Can one of you fellows do me the honor of doing roll call?
Yeah, I got you. What's good, everybody? Make sure you guys like the video, man. We doing the video today because we won't be on tomorrow. So shout out to Joey Kappas, Devin99 in the building, Benjamin Foe in the building, Marvin Tober in the building, D'Anthony Goodwin in the building. Joey Kappas with the super chat, man. Thank you. Kyle Webb in the building. Make sure you guys like the video as you come in here, man. We about to have some fun today.
Well, we're starting off the stream well. Thank you, Joey. I greatly appreciate that. I'm guessing your stimulus check came in. And I see a couple of you guys are starting to say it's stimulus check Friday. I got mine, Wednesday. So get ready to see a whole lot of 22s rolling around Michigan. That's all I can say. But that's neither here nor there. Fellas, the first thing I want to do on today's show is talk draft because, like I said, draft's a heavy topic right now. So if you guys have not messed with this, I highly recommend doing so. It's very fun. Bravo showed us how to do it last week, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on the screen if I can find it right there. This is called 2020 Tankathon. Let me make sure I got it good. Yep, right there. So I'll keep putting Joey, bro, chill. You don't got to keep dropping money like that, but I appreciate it, man. I certainly do. So as you can see here right now, this is the projected NBA draft standing. What's going on? What's going on, people? People are still pulling in. This is how it's going to look without the draft lottery taking effect. But with the power of technology and with the click of a button, we can go ahead and simulate it. Now, it does go ahead and show us some statistics. I got to go to the other one, though, I do believe. Yes, I do. So you can see here, it shows you the last record because this is supposed to go on during the regular season. Right now, with the NBA in hiatus, the Pistons are sitting at 20-46 and currently have the fifth pick in the draft without the lottery taking place. We're only 4.5 games out of securing the number one pick. We have a 42.1% chance of landing a top four pick. That's pretty good. And we have a 10.5% chance of landing the first overall pick. So if you guys have any questions, we can answer them in the chat. But we're going to go ahead and do this first one here real quick, just show you guys how it's going to work. And then we're going to break it down. Now, this is just generated. There's no right or wrong thing. The computer does it all by itself and really takes players that the team needs. So we did it last week and it worked out pretty well. But let's go ahead and see what's going to happen for this first one. All right, so we're not starting off hot. The Pistons would fall 2 spots to number 7 and take Obi Toppin. Fellas, if the Pistons fell in the draft, go ahead and show you guys pictures there, to 7. Obi Toppin, according to this, is who they would take. JMO, how do you feel about that if we fell?
First, I gotta say, man, shout out to Evil Kyrie. We got Devin99 and Patrick Ernest and Mondo Ray Moore in the building. What's good, Mondo? We got to get you on here with us, man. For real, we got to get you on here with us, man.
To quote the roundtable hashtag facts.
Right. I mean, look, if we get the 7th overall pick, we ain't getting Melo, and we're not getting we're not getting Anthony Edwards. But looking at this, we pass on Killian Hayes and take Obi Toppin. No, I don't like that at all. I like Obi Toppin, but I don't like taking him. Why would we pass on? Why would we do that? Why would we pass on Killian Hayes and take Obi Toppin instead? That kind of doesn't make any sense. But yeah, the Tankathon's taking the L right now. I don't agree with none of that. But then you got Melo going to Cleveland. Like, what? That's not gonna happen.
Well, it's batting 0 for 1 right now. No, Pistons fall to 7 in this scenario. They, according to this, take Obi. Do you like that? Do you not like that? What are your thoughts on this one?
If all the guys like LaMelo and Killian Hayes are gone and Anthony Edwards, yeah. If one of those point guards are there,
I think it's based on the one right here because Killian Hayes is still on the board.
Oh, but no, I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. If he's there, I wouldn't want to pick Obi Toppin over him because we do need a point guard with the ability of a point guard, not a scoring guard. So I need a point guard, man. You know what I'm saying? So give me the point guard first. Now, if he's not there, then cool. I'm cool with the pick. I'm cool with Obi Toppin right there. I'm actually cool with it. But other than that, I need LaMelo. If he was to magically somehow by the grace of God be there, I need LaMelo.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. It's a toss between him and Killian Hayes. I don't hate the pick, but Killian Hayes going Chicago, that'd be fun to watch. To be honest with you, man, he's going to throw some alley oops, some Zach LaVine dunks, I'd imagine. There's nothing against Obi. I think the only way we're taking Obi is if LaMelo or Hayes is not available, unless we move up, which we'll probably see here in a minute. I don't hate the pick. It's just going to determine which one of those players is better. He's kind of like a Christian Wood type player at the 4 position where he can shoot a little bit. He can take people off the dribble, and he's really an explosive player above the rim. So, I don't think this one's very likely because I don't really think the Pistons are going to be falling much further than 5. If anything, it'd be 6. And even then, it'd be kind of similar. But I think that was a bad first one. Again, I can't control it. But let's see if the second time shakes it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay, and this one, the Charlotte Hornets have the first pick, and the Phoenix Suns have the second pick. Yeah, this is
you make that a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I can. I'll just take your face off of it. How about that?
Thank you.
Wow. Charlotte jumped 7 spots. The Suns jumped 8. We jumped 2 and got the third pick. And we take Dini. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Danny Avita, whatever his name is. Danny Avita.
Bravo. Are you there?
What's up? Yes. What's up?
Right, you can pronounce that name.
I need your help to pronounce that name.
Well, what's up? How's it going, everyone?
What's going on, Bravo?
Danny Avita.
Danny Avdia. Avdia.
Danny Avdia.
Avdia.
Yeah,
The J is silent. He's Israeli guy. Danny Avdia.
Oh, he's the guy from Israel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you see the Tankathon on the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
So let's just throw you right in the
what do
fire,
you
man.
think about us taking, yeah, go ahead.
If we get the third pick, and according to this, Charlotte's jumping 7 and Suns are jumping 8 to get the first and second. LaMelo is gone. Anthony Edwards is gone. We take this guy. Bravo, do you like it? Do you not like it?
Of course not. I'll be disappointed. I'll be terribly disappointed if we pick him up right now at 3.
Well, according to this, if this is a scenario, who are you taking besides him?
I'd definitely go below. I'd go Toppin or Wiseman. Why would I miss on those 2 guys? I'd even consider Hayes. And Hayes is 8. So some of the stuff in here are not really I don't know. The Tankathon sometimes just distribute the players based on the best fit sometimes. So, but I don't know why it just distribute us to Danny Avdia. I mean, I don't hate him. He's a really good player, skilled player, but he's not explosive. He's not athletic. He's not going to make an impact. He's a max 15-point game. So I don't think he's going to be like they're proposing as like he is Luka Doncic light. He's not even close. No, he's
from Israel. No,
yeah.
Man, come on, dog.
I'm telling you that the media are advertising him like that, and I could tell you his ceiling maybe like
The
close to
closest
his.
person to Luka Doncic would be Melo, not him.
Yeah. Uh,
I don't. I
I
don't
could
know.
see Denny Avdia close to Omri Caspi, who's another Israeli player, but not even close, man.
Real quick before I
Caspian's
pass it to
garbage.
you, JMO, shout out to everybody in the chat. Please hit that like button to show us some love. We're doing a little bit of a pregame, or I guess pre-show for the draft. Or the draft is still a ways away because we still don't know what's going on with the regular season. There's talks of it coming back, but we're getting this draft talk in because we have a real good shot at landing, like you see right here, a top 3 pick. So shout out to everybody in the chat. JMO, man, continue what you were saying.
No, I was just saying, like, no offense, but if you from Israel and then you not athletic, I don't want you. I'm sorry. The next Luca, but I can't pronounce your name, man. I knew who Luca was when he was 15 years old. So no, man, like no, and this is terrible. I would definitely take James Wiseman or Killian Hayes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this one, man. See, Drew, I feel like you put that bad energy out because you like it was real good last time. Let's see what happened this time, and now we getting messed over on the tankathon right now.
I guess Bravos has got the magic touch. You know what?
I
You
think
know
it's
what
a
they
good
say.
idea. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to be third. You can trade down and get another pick. Maybe we can get New York pick at number 8 and also get their 27th pick overall.
Well, let's
And
do this. You know,
I don't mind it.
third time's the charm. Let's see if I can't go ahead and kind of put the luck in our draw here. That one doesn't count either. We're gonna keep going because that one's not good. I don't know. Well, I just did a video about someone saying we were gonna draft him too, didn't I? Okanagu at 6.
O'Connell.
Man, I don't like how they keep having Killian Hayes get overlooked by us. I really don't. I want to get another good pick where it's realistic, though. That's not realistic. Okay, this one is more realistic-ish. The Warriors stay at 1. Atlanta stays at 2. Timberwolves stay at 3. Washington jumps up 5 spots to number 4. Cleveland drops 3, gets LaMelo at 5. And then we're there at 6 to get Obi yet again, overlooking yet again Killian Hayes. So, fellas, I guess through this stipulation, I'm going to start with you. If Obi Toppin and Killian Hayes are there for the grabbing, for the taking, for you to bring to your team, are you taking Obi or are you taking Killian Hayes?
I gotta go with Hayes. I mean, I need another. Again, like I said earlier, I need another guard, man. Because the Pistons they've been doing okay with finding certain decent big man. Again, nothing against Obi. I mean, I would love to have Obi. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of need a guard, man. We need somebody who can play me, pass the ball, man. Definitely somebody who can help call the offense, man. That's what I need right now.
Bravo, man.
Yeah.
If Obi and Killian Hayes are both there at 5, 6, or I guess even 7, which player are you taking? Are you going to take Obi or are you taking Killian Hayes?
Okay, just before we comment on that, if you look at the way, if you hit reset, I know the way it looks like whenever you hit the simulation button, we either gonna be 6, 7, 8, or we're gonna be 3, 4, 2. There's a high percent chance we're gonna be either like below the 5 or above the 5. There's really low. Exactly, this is what I was about to talk about. Our chances are really jumping up higher than staying at 5th spot, and our chances of jumping low is higher than staying at 5th spot. There's no way we're gonna stay at 5th. I believe we either gonna be 6, 7, or we're gonna be 3, 4, or 2, or 1. In my opinion, if you ask me which one you're gonna pick, Killian Hayes or Obi Toppin, it's really hard because Obi is gonna be all-star, I think, candidate. Killian Hayes, he requires some time, just like Sekou. I mean, Piston fans will be furious. Oh, why did we pick this guy? This guy is like, he's not really gonna be. I can see Piston fans bashing Killian Hayes all day. But if you ask me which one you pick, definitely Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes is a more potential player. He's 18-year-old. He's gonna be picked at 18-year-old, I think. So he's still young, like a Sekou's age. He's a friend with Sekou, so it would be great to pick him up. And I think he's a good candidate for our team. But
Yeah, I was gonna say that I don't think Killian Hayes is as underdeveloped as Sekou was. I think he's ready now. But I think he can
Yeah,
play day one,
yeah.
especially if he gets the summer to work with like the summer league and stuff. I think he'll be like I don't. I'm not saying he gonna drop 17 a game, but day one he'll be able to score and he'll be able to at least pass. He'll be able to score like anywhere from 12 to 15, and then he'll be able to pass on an NBA level. And to me, that's really what we need him for.
Well, there's a big difference in comparing the two. For one, he's going to have a lot more weapons to come in and play with as the orchestrator of this offense. You're going to be giving him a healthy Luke Kennard and Svi Mihailuk. Either I don't know if they're going to start both of those fellas or not. I'm pulling for them to play the 2 and the 3 just to space the floor out. But then you're giving him a healthy Blake Griffin, which we all know what he can do when he's healthy. He's a 25 point per game scorer when he's healthy. We're going to probably see his numbers dip this year and really limit his minutes and effectiveness. And then we need to re-sign Christian Wood, but then you're going to give him a player right now since the Andre Drummond trade who's been averaging like 23 points per game. He's going to come in here with a whole lot of weapons, so he may not be scoring a whole lot, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to come in as a rookie and average 8+ assists a game if he's starting. Plus, you're giving him a prime point guard in Derrick Rose to kind of be his mentor and show him the ropes. I think that if we take a point guard, either if it's Hayes or if we're going to move up in the draft and get LaMelo, they're just going to have so many toys and weapons to play with. It's going to be insane for that person. So I really think we need to take a point guard.
Yeah. Yeah, one more thing, just to compare the two. Killian Hayes is only 18 at the time of the draft. Like he is still 18. Even at the start of the NBA, he'll be 18-year-old. I mean, the guy Obi Toppin, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Toppin is 22. He'll be 23 soon. He is like a close to Bruce Brown or I don't know, is V Mihailuk ceiling. He's already there.
I compare Toppin to like a Kuzma, but he plays better defense. At least as a rookie, like I think he's the better player than Killian Hayes right now.
Yeah, of course.
He's not a playmaker. And
Yeah.
Killian, I like the fact that him and Sekou are close friends. I want to pair them together. Especially if I can't get LaMelo, like I think that would be perfect for both of them.
Yeah, I like Killian for that reason. But I mean, I just want to say I'm not hating on Toppin, but I don't think we should pick him out just because of the fact he's 22. He's 22, and his ceiling, like, okay, give him a couple of years. That's it. He is, that's his ceiling. Trust me. Ceiling in 2 years, whatever he is in the next couple of years, that's it. He will not be better after 3 or 4 years. I doubt it.
Bravo, can I ask you a question real quick? What were you doing in this tankathon to get the Pistons to get a good draft pick? What's the trick, man?
just hit it. I mean, hit it right now. Let's see what happened. There you go, 4. You get either a chance at 3 or 4. I mean,
we still get idea trash self, bro.
Bravo, man. What were you doing, man? What am I doing wrong?
No, here's the thing. Go to NBA Home.
Okay.
And do the simulation from there. That's a better way. No,
it's not.
You don't see the player's name at least. That tells you what chances we have. And I guess this is the better way.
Hold on, Drew. 1 second. If I don't know if you guys in the chat can see the chart, but it tells you our percentages. So right now we got a 42% chance for a top 4 pick, and the number 1 overall is a 10.5 chance. So 10.5 chance to get number 1, but we got a 42% chance to get top 4. But as we're doing the simulations, you see we getting 6 and 7. So like it don't even make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So we have like 40%. Exactly. We got really huge chances.
Just trying to have some fun with y'all.
Dude, look, it keeps going to 6 and 7. Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at that.
That's what I'm talking about.
That is nice.
If you hit the mock will show you which player the Piston would likely pick based on their needs and their best fit. I think so. That's what it does. But I've seen like few mocks given us Wiseman. So I mean,
we do need a center, but
I just need to see I need to see a mock with LaMelo.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? There we go. Man. I spoke it into existence, just like LeVar.
First try. So let's do this.
That will be the dream.
Let's do this, okay? Pistons get the first overall pick. LaMelo Ball is what they have us taking, but is Anthony Edwards in play? I mean, we could take any player we wanted to. Of course, I'm fine with the Melo pick. I ain't complaining. Nomis, if we land the number 1 pick, we have a 10.5% chance of doing so, and here we did it. Who are you taking?
The very guy you see right there on the panel, LaMelo Ball.
To quote Rasheed Wallace, a great Piston, ball don't lie. J-Mo, I know he's your boy, man. You taking him as well?
Look, man, it's kind of hard actually, because I believe in Anthony Edwards, but I have to take the guy that's a point guard. I don't like to me. It's not even that I think Melo's a better player. It's just he's a point guard on top of being a great player. Anthony Edwards is just a scorer, so he can play a little defense, but he's not that good at defense. He can score. He's very athletic, but that's all. Melo, I mean, his athleticism is above average, but he's a great scorer. He can score the ball. He can pass the ball. If I get the number 1 overall pick, I'm taking LaMelo 10 times out of 10. Like, I'm taking him.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I see all you guys. We're gonna incorporate you guys later on the show. So if you guys have any questions, if it's draft, if it's free agency, if it's trades, save it till the end because we will be taking some of you guys' questions. We're just talking about this right now. But bravo, man. If this is a likely scenario, Pistons land number 1, is LaMelo the guy, or do you have the Pistons going in a different direction?
So either it's real. I think, in my opinion, just an opinion, I think we should pick Melo number 1. There's no doubt about that. Number highest player on our big mock draft is Melo. But should we pick him at 1 or 2? I think if it was this scenario, I 100% guarantee you the Knicks fans are dying for LaMelo Ball. So what I would do, I trade down, pick Anthony Edwards, and pick at the 27. I'd rather do it that way. You know,
What?
I think Anthony Edwards is as good as Melo, and people downgrading his skills. It's just the team fit. I like Melo the most. Don't get me wrong. I think we should pick Melo, but we shouldn't pick him at 1. Pick him at 2 or 3, maybe.
So I'm gonna tell you something. If we don't pick Melo, the one thing I'm not doing is giving him to the Knicks. Their fans do want LaMelo, and I've been arguing with them for a while. I'm not giving him to the damn Knicks. I will take LaMelo, and that's regardless of what Anthony Edwards is. We know he can score the ball, but we need a playmaker. Like, if we get him, we still gonna have to draft a point guard. Like, who's gonna be the playmaker for the team?
I know, but
LaMelo,
you don't pass on a guy like Edward. I don't think we can pass on a guy like Edward too. And I think Edward is the best player in the draft, in my opinion. So
we shouldn't.
I think he's better than Melo. Sorry, no, he is better than Melo for sure. But is in terms of the fit for us, Melo fit us the most and fits the Knicks the most. However, you can abuse the Knicks this way. You can take multiple. You can take another pick from them, and maybe I don't know if they're really desperate, they can go for another pick in the future from them. I'd abuse them. This is a scenario. You know, one thing I like about Melo, he's a great fit for us, but I'm really concerned about the future for him with us. LeVar is not going to keep Melo here at the Pistons. He's probably going to shift him to LA. He's going to take him somewhere else. That's my concern.
Up to Melo, though.
That's my concern. That's my concern. I think other players would be
that's a concern that doesn't have any ground or base to it. LeVar don't got nothing to do with what's going on with LaMelo.
I don't know, but this is how I read multiple sites on the website. They say
they don't like LeVar, but LeVar ain't got nothing to do with LaMelo and what he's doing. He's out here buying basketball teams. That don't got nothing to do with LeVar. He's not going to be controlling his career and telling him where he can go and where he can't go. No, it's not going to happen. And when you look at you say Anthony Edwards the better player. I don't know. When you look at Tankathon, we got 19 points to 20 points, 8 rebounds to 5 rebounds, 8 assists to 3 assists, and 1.8 steals, 1.5 steals. LaMelo played in a better league. So I don't really know if it's that clear that he's a better player.
I don't know about the stats. You don't look at James Wiseman's stats. It's crazy. But I don't think we can count on stats.
James Wiseman played in 3 games, though, and we know that.
Yeah, but I think Anthony Edwards is a guy potential like Donovan Mitchell. I mean, you don't pass on a guy like him. I'm serious. I mean, if I'm number 1 on the Pistons, I'd consider Anthony Edwards over Melo plus In some situations, if I'm getting more picks from the Knicks, I do it. But if I'm not getting anything, hell no. I mean, LaMelo Ball is a better fit for us.
Yeah, because I'm about to say, if you wanted another shooter or somebody who could score, you should have got KPJ last year. But nah, you wanted some dude who ain't gonna ever play. What?
Javier Trashes.
Well, you bring that up, no, that's in the past, man. Breaking my heart.
Man, all our hearts are broken. What you talking about?
I just don't know, man. I'm not.
And here's the thing, even if I'm sorry. No, here's the thing. Even if Bravo, if you were going to trade that to the Knicks and wrongfully send LaMelo Ball there, at least you could do is say, well, get Killian and then pick up somebody later if we could still who could fall there later. At least we get another point guard. I'm not trading for another score. I need a point guard.
So I'm only talking about the first and second picks. LaMelo Ball and Edward are the best players. You cannot really trade down to downgrade the first couple of players from other players. I don't think you can compare Killian Hayes to Anthony Edward or LaMelo Ball, but I can compare LaMelo Ball to Anthony Edward.
Well, see, the Pistons in the situation if they got the top 3 pick. Yeah, because they're in the situation where not only should you take the best player, but they need the point guard too. So even if he's the second, even if you're right, if Anthony Edwards is the best player, LaMelo is right behind him because he's the point guard. That's what Pistons primarily need right now. So you still got to take him. That's the most scientific fit to get in. It's like
point guard and he can score. If Anthony Edwards is giving you 19 next year, Melo can give you 15 or 16 and 8 assists. You have to take LaMelo. If you're talking about the Pistons, like if you're talking about the Knicks, they should take Anthony Edwards. But why would they take LaMelo over him? So it's a reason for that, man. But I can't. I mean, we get Anthony Edwards. I'm not gonna complain. But if we got the number 1 overall pick and we don't take the best point guard in the draft, I'm gonna be upset with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely dying for Melo, man. In my opinion, if this is a draft, either we get Melo or a bust. I mean, this is what we need to do. I mean, I'll be happy with Edwards. I'd be super happy with Edwards, but I don't see any good players for us, and I don't know if we're gonna get lucky in the draft and pick up a great player. We'll see.
Ooh, you said Flair I had to do.
And if we get into Edwards, then Luke Kennard and Bruce Brown basically need to be traded because he's a shooting guard.
Yeah, he should be traded.
How tall is he though?
He's 6'5".
Oh yeah, he's too small to play small forward. Never mind.
No, he's a shooting guard. Man.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to make it work.
It'd be fun to watch because he athletic and he probably dunk on somebody.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, right now though, we don't need a shooting guard, man. We got
like
25 of them. Like if we were compared to the Knicks in any way, how they draft or sign power forwards, that's what we do to shooting guards, man.
We'll be the team of the shooting guards.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It just doesn't make sense. You take the best point guard prospect in the draft. Like he can score and he can play make.
I look at Edward as a really hot pick. A lot of teams would love on their team. So that's why I consider it that way. Yeah, so that's why
he can score, but like it depends on what you need. Like it depends on what you need. If you just need somebody to score, like we didn't have Blake Griffin on this team, then you might want to take Edwards because you need somebody that you think is going to be able to score the most amount of points. But we do got another scorer on this team, and we do got D Rose who can score, and we do got Luke Kennard who can score, and we do got Christian Wood who can score. You don't need more scorers. You need playmakers, people who can make other people around them better, people who can run the second unit and have us looking right. And that's why you take LaMelo or Killian Hayes.
So let me ask you fellas this, man. Say the draft lottery screws us really, really bad. Like we're like the 10th pick or something. So that would mean Killian, LaMelo, and Obi, Wiseman, Edwards, so on and so forth are all off the boards. Do you think that Cole Anthony is something the Pistons are going to target? Because a lot of people are talking about Cole Anthony. I don't think we're taking him in the top 8 because wherever we have done this, that's where we have been. And trading down or trading up is something we haven't talked about yet. If the lottery hurts us that much, are we trying to trade back up to get a player that we're talking about right now? Or are we going to try to trade down, get some more assets, and take a player like Cole Anthony? Bravo, I'm going to start with you on that one.
So you mean Cole Anthony over which player you think?
I'm saying
we
if
get
all the
a
players we're
basically
talking about right now are off the board, like
Can
we
you go
get like
back to
the
that?
10th.
That was a good way. Let's go back to that. Can you show us the
What's
tankathon?
okay?
Yeah, I mean it's just a better way to look at it, you know.
Yeah, 1 second. I
no,
took
but
it off.
he didn't put it in Tankathon. He's just saying that we don't get none of these players. Are you fine with us
Yeah,
getting Cole Anthony?
Cole Anthony over whom? You mean? So if you keep it reset, just hit the reset. This is a best way to look at it when you reset it. Exactly.
So I'm
So
saying like right here, okay. So how we're at 5 right now. Say we go down to 10, right where Phoenix is at. Say we fall that far in the lottery process because the NBA doesn't like us. Are we
okay.
taking a player like Cole Anthony? Because I don't know if he's going to go at 10. I mean, Phoenix does need a point guard.
No, we probably take Halliburton.
So here's the thing: we can never go down below 9. FYI, we can never go down 4 spots below this. So the latest we can go is 9, statistically speaking. Number one. And number two, if I'm like a number 9, I definitely consider Cole Anthony over the rest of the guys because I feel like Cole Anthony is an instinct player. He's an impact player. He can make an impact on offense, and he's a leader, and he has a potential for like scorer also. I like Halliburton, like what James was saying. But if you really ask me which one is a better pick for a better fit for us, I'd probably go with Anthony Cole Anthony. Just because of the fact he is a similar player. They are actually comparing him also on these websites to D Rose. He is would
Oh
be an
my
excellent.
God, they
Yeah,
need to stop.
yeah,
They are
yeah,
on the bottle too much.
yeah.
What?
He does show some flashes. I can see him. Yeah.
Well,
If
I'm
you
about to say I don't. I mean,
No.
I don't necessarily. You know, I don't like. You know, I hate Cole Anthony. Like I shit on him constantly. But if we
yeah.
talking about play styles, it is similar. D Rose is just more athletic, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
Hold on.
I
Let's
play
put
I'd
this
pick
styles
height
ain't
Cole
chart
Anthony.
quick.
together.
Yeah, yeah. Anthony's a good player,
Nobody
Oh,
can
and
he's
stand, man.
6'3". Why does he look so short? He's 6'3".
yeah, he's a Reggie Jackson tall.
Yeah, man. Look, and see,
He
like
does
Cole
not look
Anthony
that
is
tall when
smart.
you watch him play. That's the lie. He's not 6'3". I
No,
don't
he
believe
Yeah,
don't.
that.
He looks skinny and lanky, but no, he's been sick like 6 feet since he was like in 11th grade. So I knew about Cole Anthony in high school, but I just don't like him because I feel like he's an inefficient shot chucker. But when we talking about basketball skills, he has the second best handles in the draft after LaMelo. And then he can create his own shot, and he's athletic enough. He can score. So I mean, he's averaging like what? How many assists they say he averaged? 4 assists. So he had to work on that. That's why I call him an inefficient shot chucker. How you a point guard averaging
yeah.
4 assists? But
He's Reggie Jackson
I would
exactly.
take him. I might take RJ Hampton over him though, but I might take him though. He's my last resort at point guard.
Yeah. Tyrese
Go ahead, man.
Halliburton is also like he is really efficient defender, very good defender. He's tall. He is the only bad as about him is his shot form is ugly, ugly, ugly. And he scores well, but he can shoot it. But I don't like his shot form, and I don't think it's gonna translate in the NBA. I don't know.
No, miss. If we get dinked in this NBA draft lottery system that the NBA has, and say we fall down to 10 or wherever around that ballpark, people like LaMelo, people like Killian Hayes and Anthony Edwards, so on and so forth. Killian Hayes are all off the board. If we're at 10, are we taking a player like Cole Anthony? And if not, what do you see the Detroit Pistons trying to do in that situation? Oh no, Mrs. Mute his mic as I asked him the question. So we'll move on to this then. If the Pistons
If we
don't end
don't,
up, just gonna cut me off like that. Welcome back, no.
yeah, I didn't know I was muted.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying if the Pistons don't take Cole Anthony, I can imagine them trying. I don't know who it would be, but I can imagine them trying to find some other guard, like in a trade in the first round or something. Maybe move a couple of assets they probably do have that's young to try to acquire them. I just don't quite know who, but I do think if they're forced to, I think they would, because I can't see them going for like another shooting guard right now. And I can't see them going for another four, but then again, it is the Pistons. So it's like, I think they should. They should take Cole Anthony because it's one of those things where it's a 50-50 chance this just might work. It may take a minute, but it just might work. If not, I can't really see where they're going to go with it and who they should take because you already have Sekou, so you don't want to take anybody that's going to be a four that's going to take like 2-3 years in rotation, especially with Dwayne, the way Dwayne Casey has been coaching people. And then you don't know if the center thing would be somewhat pistony to do, and then it's like you still have to take a point guard, so I have to go with Anthony.
So let me ask you fellas this, man. Say the Pistons are in a position they don't want to be in because we haven't talked about it too much. Do you guys think the Pistons are in a position where they would be able to have enough assets to either move up in the draft if they want to actually secure a top 4 pick if we stay at 5 or below? Or do you think the Pistons might be looking, and if they do land in the top 4, if LaMelo is off the board, that they might try to trade down and get a player like Killian Hayes and get more assets in return, maybe a second or a very late first? James, I'm going to pass that one to you.
Man, the Pistons ain't that smart. They'll probably stay wherever they at. I don't see them trading up or down in the draft. Unless they really want LaMelo, then my boy Luka's gonna have to be traded, and I'm gonna be pissed. But we get LaMelo. We probably have to trade more than Luke though, but we'll have to trade some stuff to get LaMelo, and I would personally. I remember I told y'all one day I trade 4 first-round picks for LaMelo. I was joking, but I might trade 2. But I don't think the Pistons would do something like that, and I definitely don't think they're going to trade down. I think they know they got to get a lottery pick, and I don't see them moving either way unless they really want to get LaMelo. And they're at like 3 or 4, and they're like, man, if we give you this player and this first-round pick, let us get LaMelo. Maybe if it's a team like Golden State, they'd be like, yeah, sure.
Bravo, man. You know a lot about these young guys more than we do. You're our scouting expert. If the Pistons are in a position where they want to either go in the top 4 and trade up 4, or if they are in the top 4 and they want to trade down, do we have enough assets to do it either way?
Yes, simply because we have all our first-round pick next year's. Number 1, we have, I hate to say it, we have Luke Kennard. Number 2, we can actually chip him and trade our pick to get the number 1 pick from maybe the Golden State Warriors or maybe whichever team get the first-round pick. I actually heard not only us have the trading capacity to trade up, also the New York Knicks. I hate to say it, but because I'm hearing that they want to trade Mitchell Robinson and their pick and maybe the 27th pick and get Melo. They want to do everything to get Melo. I'm hearing that just from recently, which is kind of crazy. So if I'm the general manager of the Pistons, I think the best friendly team which make a deal with us is our neighbors, the Cleveland Cavaliers. If they land the first round pick, we would be happy to trade with them. Dan Gilbert, love our owner, and our owner loved Dan Gilbert. I think we would make it happen. Maybe that's the only way. So yes, I think we could do it, but how much asset you give up? That's the biggest question. I would give a future asset, but I would doubt giving the next year first round pick because we're in a situation rebuilding team. We might need a first round pick next year. So I might be considered 2024 maybe pick plus or 2023 maybe and get Melo on the first round pick maybe or a second round pick maybe here. I mean, sorry, second player in the first round pick. I'm trying to say. Sorry.
You're good. So Noma, I'm gonna throw this one to you first. Going out, I guess, because I really think this one's connected to the draft, but going outside the draft, because personally, I think whatever pick we get is going to determine my answer. But this is a different year. Last year we went out, we signed Derrick Rose, we signed Markieff Morris, we traded for Tony Snell, all very good role players. Derrick Rose was one of the highlights of this season. How aggressive are the Detroit Pistons going to be in free agency this year? Are they going to try to go out and get Kyle Lowry and DeRozan, or are they going to go out there and try to get people who are kind of just like good role players? I don't really know what to expect out of us in free agency until we know what draft pick we are getting. But no, what do you think is the Pistons' game plan heading into free agency this summer?
I think they're going to go and get, like you said, more role players because I don't think they want to tie themselves into another huge contract until they realize, Blake is healthy, but they're still eventually going to want to get things straightened out with him too. So I don't think they want to rush in and try to get any more hefty contracts just because Dwayne Casey knows a couple players out there that I'm not about to mention. And what I think they should do, or they might do, like when you did that video on a guy like Giles, I think they'll bring in guys like him that are young but like do have a lot of potential. They make him give a push to try to make the roster and see if they can play in a rotation. I think that's what they'll do. They may spend a little bit of money here and there, but it just comes down to exactly who. But I don't think it's going to be like, uh, uh, guy from the Raptors, the point guard from there, or like DeRozan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to go after those guys. I just don't think we have the money still yet to quite afford those contracts. And if we do, it'll literally send us right back that we just got out of Josh Smith. So it's like it'll send us right back into cap hell. So I think they'll stay like where they may spend on a player maybe about a couple of years, $8 million a year at the most or less. I think that's what they'll do until they can get the roster. Because like you said, you got the draft, and let's say they get LaMelo, so that could end up impacting your roster heavy. So you don't want to overspend. I think they need to be more wait and see, and then go into the next year's free agency and probably be a little bit more aggressive.
Well, I appreciate that you watch my videos. I really do. But JMO, man, there's a couple of players we're already talking about taking. All of them have their connections to Dwayne Casey. Like Lonnie, I hope I said your name right. Like Van Vliet, DeRozan, Kyle Lowry are really some of the bigger names that we're looking at right now. But JMO, what's your approach to this offseason in terms of free agency? Do you think we're going to go pedal to the metal and try to make some big splashes and really pay some fellas? Because this is the first year we got a lot of money. Or do you think we're going to go more role players to 1 to 2 year deals? What's your thoughts on free agency this year?
First I want to say I see a lot of new people in the chat. Make sure you guys like that video and drop some more comments in there, man. Look, I would agree with Nomis 100%. But I think the timeline for Dwayne Casey is a little bit murky right now. And he might try to build a playoff team. He might try to build a team that's going to be successful, and I don't see us signing any big name players, but that's not the only way to build a playoff team. You just got to add high level role players, like not like a Harry Giles. You got to add somebody much better than that. Because even though this free agency class doesn't seem like, great because of stars. I mean, yeah, it's not a lot of superstars, but just because it's not a lot of superstars don't mean it's not people with contracts coming up. You got my guy, what's his name, David Bertans. You got guys in question like Miles Turner. Yes, Miles Turner. So it's a bunch of guys that you got. I don't know if I would want him because his contract is big, but you got Drew Holiday gonna be on the trade block in the summer. Maybe you want to take him. So it's players that we can get, just not superstars. And with the money that we have, I think we're gonna look to. I think we'll probably sign one. I won't say big contract, but I'll say mid to upper tier, maybe for 3 years, and then the rest fill out with 2 years to 1 year deal. So like we might go after one like a good player, borderline all-star type player, like a Miles Turner or a Drew Holiday, and then we'll fill out the rest of the roster because last year, I know we didn't have that much money, but we went out and got some players. I don't care. Like Tony Snell is trash, but Markeith and Derrick Rose, like we went out and got some players.
Would you rather have Tony Snell or would you rather have John Lure?
Tony Snell, because Tony Snell can shoot the ball. Tony Snell, look, hey, Tony Snell is trash, but I won't disrespect him because I seen his fiance. And
come on, man.
Boy, Tony Snell got all the respect in the world from me, bro. Trust me. But he can shoot the ball.
Let me Google that. Let me go.
Hey, bravo, man. Boy.
I'm gonna go down.
No, I wasn't saying like we had to go get Giles specifically. I'm just saying like I think we'll get somebody like you said, somewhere close to mid tier. Not too low, but like somewhere mid tier where you have to pay some decent money, like you said, Miles Turner and a couple of other guys. I didn't mean like, we had to go like down there.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. But I'm just saying. I don't think we're gonna be adding lower tier players on the team because I won't say we have low tier players, but we got Jordan Bones and the Lewis Kings and the Dante Hall. And then you have the Bruce Browns and the Speeds and the Luke Kennard and Sekou. We got young players, so we don't really
Right.
need to add more young prospects. That's like we're not going to draft. I just think we'll add more. We'll try to add some veterans with these young guys, sprinkling in, and we might go after like one of those bigger like mid tier name Drew Holiday, not DeRozan. We ain't getting him. Drew
Yeah.
Holiday, Miles Turner, Bertans, who's been really good. I would definitely like Bertans on this team. It's just guys like that. So and I
Mhm.
think we will fill out the roster pretty well. I think what they're trying to do, and this is just my pure thoughts, if Blake get hurt, we need to have this roster filled out to the point that we can still be a playoff team. And that's what I think they're going to try to do with this extra money that they got. Because I don't think Dwayne Casey is that conservative. Like, let's just keep building and not try to get players. You know what I'm saying? No, he's going to try to get some players. I just don't think it's going to be those three guards from Toronto.
Right. Real quick before I pass it to you, Bravo, Rod, I gotta show you some love in the chat, man. I love your profile pic, man. It's got some real San Andreas vibes, and that's the greatest GTA in all time, in my opinion. So, hey, I like it. But Bravo,
San
man.
Andreas, the GOAT GTA, bro.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
Let
Good
me ask
memories,
you.
man.
Okay, off of GTA because they don't want to hear about GTA right now. Free agency will be here before we know it. I guess it's really going to take place after whatever we find out's going to happen with the regular season and the playoffs for the NBA. But what should the Detroit Pistons approach be? Should they go out there and spend some of this money that they have worked and waited so long for, or should they kind of save it, sign some role players to a year, maybe 2-year deals? What do you think the Pistons' game plan heading into free agency is going to be?
So that's the confusing part. I don't really quite understand what the front office direction yet. We look like we sold a lot of our vets, but they haven't indicated clearly they want to. Okay. We say that they said we're rebuilding team. We're trying to go young. We're trying to go tanking basically this year. We did that already, which is nice. At least we had a direction this year. But I don't understand what's the direction next year. Are they going to compete? Are they going to try to make the playoff, or are they going to go tanking again? It's really hard. I mean, if I'm the, it looks like they are trying to sign young players, which I would like to, like Jerry Hiles or Harry Giles. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I mean, I
The
would like
only
that
reason
guy.
I said they gonna compete is because if Blake Griffin's there, you gonna compete, especially with D Rose on the team.
So I don't know if we're really gonna really keep Blake Griffin. If Blake Griffin, here's the bottom line: if Blake Griffin comes back scoring 20 games an average in the first 10 games, he's gonna be traded. Probably he's gonna be traded. I don't see him staying here for a long time because we're supposed to trade him because this is our direction. We're trying to get players out of here, the veteran players. Even D Rose can be traded. I hate to say it. So, but the direction is not clear. I don't know what they're doing. I hope we don't really sign Van Vliet because he just fits Toronto better. He doesn't fit the Pistons. I'm not hating on Van Vliet because I think it is going to be overpay if we pay him. I would rather pay a guy like Brandon Ingram, obviously, max him out, but I don't think we're getting him either. Maybe get a Harry Giles. I would throw money maybe on. So all the young players, I know the Knicks have a lot of young players. I heard that Mitchell Robinson is due for a contract next year, not this year. So I heard also Frank Ntilikina, and I also heard that Dennis Smith Jr. is close. Maybe this year, Dennis Smith Jr. or next year. So these are all like players. I think we should target young players if we're really a rebuilding team. There's no point of going over veterans like Van Vliet or maybe Montrezl Harrell. We can sign short-term deals like what Drew. I like that idea, like what the Knicks did this year. They signed Marcus Morris and they traded him for a first-round pick. It was a great idea. We could do it that way. But which players do you think we can sign? I don't know. So
No, but I don't think we're a rebuilding team. I just feel
yeah,
everybody was hurt. Everybody was hurt, so they're like, well, you might as well tank. Everybody's hurt. I mean, you got Derrick Rose. You got a healthy Pistons team. We're a playoff team. So that's
And
why
a
I
good
don't think
one.
we're going to right. That's why I don't think we'll trade Blake during the season. We'll trade him in the off season. But and then that's why I think we'll add some veterans because look, we got the young guys and we got to groom them. But see, most of the young guys have opportunity. There's not really Sekou is not really fighting with positions, but anybody but like Christian Wood and Speed. Like that's okay. Derrick Rose is really the only point guard that's gonna mess with any of the other point guards. Bruce Brown and Luke Kennard are the shooting guards. The roles are already filled. That's why you need to add veteran shooters. The quiet veterans, the Tony Snell type of guys, but better players. Like I said, like a Drew Holiday or a Miles Turner, just guys like that, or Bertans, but no guards. Like, I'm done with getting guards. No guards. We got enough guards. Need to get point guard, but like, I don't think we are rebuilding the team. I just think everybody was injured last year.
I see a lot of people in the comments saying we should try to talk to JaVale McGee. We talked to him last year, and he went to the Lakers, but he did go to Flint. I guess he is from Flint. I don't say so. I mean, hey, a fellow Flintstone here. I'm not going to complain. It would be a good pickup because he can block some shots and grab some rebounds for us. But I think the best free agent target for the Pistons is Christian Wood. Bring this guy back at all costs, because Sekou, he's going to get better, man. He's 19 right now. He's going to put the work in. He's going to get better. He may not ever be a superstar like Giannis, but he'll be a borderline all-star, if not an all-star. The talent is just there. He has got too much raw talent not to be a good player. And in the terms of Blake Griffin, a lot of people kind of forget we have him. You're going to pair him up with Christian Wood next year. It's going to be a lot of trouble for teams to try to stop those two, because both those guys stretch the floor out. Both those guys can take you off the dribble. Blake's a good facilitator. Christian Wood needs to work on that. But those guys are both above the rim players, put you on a poster, can shoot the three. I don't think that there's going to be a 4 and 5 combo in the league next year quite like that, where they can legit do everything. So I think that's top priority. And then once you resign Christian Wood, a lot of the focus needs to go on the draft and getting the right pick, but then go ahead and get some quality players here. I don't think we're going to go out there and get a DeRozan. I don't think we're going to go out there and get a Kyle Lowry unless it's for dirt cheap. A 1-year, $5 million deal for Kyle Lowry is kind of what I would pay him. And I think that there's going to be teams out there, the Knicks, who are going to look at these guys like, this is our opportunity to go ahead and sign this guy and sign them to a, somewhere between a $15 to $25 million deal, because the Knicks are that dumb. So let the Knicks go ahead and make those poor decisions, re-sign Christian Wood, work on developing your players like Bruce Brown and Sekou and Luke Kennard and Mihailuk, and get those guys where we need them to get, and really head into the next season with, everybody firing on all cylinders and be like, wow, Dwayne Casey came in here, did what he said he was going to do, develop these young players, and now we're rocking. Now we got a young guy like LaMelo, Killian Hayes, whoever, and make some noise next year, because this team's very weird. This might be to have a top 5 pick in the draft to ever go back next year and make the playoffs. Go ahead, Noam.
First things first, I said, everything you say is what we would like to say, but I mean, as you always say, dude, we're the Pistons.
Yeah, that's true.
Looking at last year free agency, though, I don't really feel like that. And getting the way we got Svi, and I don't really feel like that. And Sekou was a solid pick. We're not the same old Pistons.
Yeah,
we'll see. I got a question. It's not. I don't want y'all to make it too serious, but what do y'all think if the Pistons? And I'm not saying they had any talks with the guy or anything, but rumor, I don't even know if he's even been extended already. What if the Pistons could possibly make a move for Willie Cauley-Stein?
Willie Cauley-Stein?
Well, they talked about it last year, trading Drummer for him.
I don't think he's a free agent.
Yeah, that's right. Did he get like a 3-year deal? I thought it was
he got a 3-year deal. Yeah.
I know. I thought it was Kevon Looney.
He's in Golden State right now. I don't think the Warriors are going to let him go. He fits pretty well with what they're trying to do.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't want him anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not really a big fan, to be honest with you, either. I don't know why the Kings took him when they had DeMarcus Cousins. They say we're a bad drafting team, but look at Sacramento when they had DeMarcus Cousins. They drafted like 5 centers, man. But let's go ahead and transition it into some stuff. We got a couple more topics, and then people in the chat, you guys are dropping questions left and right. We're going to need you guys here in about 20 minutes or so. But Dwayne Casey's been here for what, 2 full years now? Coming off a coach of a year. First year made the playoffs. This year we're not making the playoffs. In these first 2 years, fellas, what grade are you giving Dwayne Casey? And there's a lot of stuff you take into account here. It's rotations, it's schemes, it's having his young guys develop, it's having people learn his system and getting better on and off the court. But bravo, man. These first 2 years, what are you going to be grading? On a scale to A being 100% to F needs improvement. What grade do you give Dwayne Casey in these first 2 years?
Well, last year we made the playoffs. He was really actually he made an impact compared to Stan Van Gundy. Obviously, we made the playoffs for a while, and the only bad part he didn't really manage the player minutes very well, and we ended up with Blake injury. So if I'm gonna get Casey last year a grade, I'll probably give him an A, or a A minus B plus. I think I'd rather stick with A minus at this point, if you ask me. This year, I think this year he really started like I don't like the way he really messed up the rotations. I don't like the way he really give Seiko a hard time. A lot of things I don't like about him. But in the end of the after the All Star break, he made his point, which is tanking. He made it right. He picked up. This is what I want him to do. He really figured it out. Finally, he started tanking. So I think this year I'm going to give him B, solid B. Last year A, this year B, because he at least managed to do something which is important, tanking. And if the season resume again, and hopefully in the summer, I think we should be still tanking and reach the bottom three maybe, so we can solidify our make the solid chance in picking up the first three pick.
Well, Kyle Webb is letting us know it is Dwayne Casey's birthday today. So happy birthday, Coach. Hopefully you have a good one in
Happy birthday,
quarantine.
Dwayne Casey.
Happy
Go,
birthday.
go get some girls. Go get some girls, bro. I don't care if you're married.
No, he can't. He's still healing from his injuries after his wrestling match.
No, Miss Ma'am. After these first 2 years after Dwayne Casey's birthday, I mean, his coaching run, what are you going to grade him for his first 2 years on a scale from A to F?
Or all right. First off, he didn't give me much to work with when you start naming everything we had to consider. But okay, there's some things obviously he did right. But right now, when it comes to this year, I feel it was a tremendous amount of things he did wrong. Honestly, if I had to give him a grade, I'm gonna have to give him like a C minus to really a D plus. D plus, because when I was watching a lot of those games this year, and I understand we were hurt, and I'm taking all that in consideration. There were times that we were still able to go to win games, and he literally coached us out of it. Everything that he's been doing with Sekou, it's just a lot of stubbornness. And again, I'm not trying to be a hard-nosed fan. Like, I really like Dwayne Casey, but like he really brought his grade down for me this year because you put situations, you're supposed to put your team in the best situation to succeed. With your rotations, what I'm saying, you're supposed to be a step up above Stan Van Gundy, and it's too many games this year where we were near full strength or where we weren't. It felt too much like the old regime. And what I needed from him was to be consistent, which he was only consistent at being inconsistent this year. And I couldn't stand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a little easier on the grade last year when I made my video on him because it was his first year. But, I understand that the injuries it's not his fault. Injuries are going to happen. But he brought a lot of talent to this team, but he still didn't know what to do with it. At times, Bruce Brown shouldn't have been out there over Svi. You got Svi on the bench wasting away. You didn't know it was never one thing without the other. It's always one thing without the other. It's never anything matching. Until I can see better, I need to see consistency next year to give him a better grade. For now, I have to give him like a C minus.
Okay, I respect it. JMO, I know you're probably one of the people who are the most harshest on Dwayne Casey. Not saying you like him or that you hate him, but what are your thoughts on Dwayne Casey? And on a scale from A to F, A being a passing grade 100%, to F being failure, needs improvement, what grade are you going to give Dwayne Casey for his first 2 years here in the Motor City?
First, I want to say shout out to my boy Nomis. If you ain't subscribed to his channel, man, you gotta subscribe, man. He just killed Dwayne Casey with some silent, soft ether. Like he was going in, but he sounded so calm while saying it. Y'all ain't like he was taking shots, bro. He said he was consistent at being inconsistent. He said his rotations was garbage, and I agree. But so with Dwayne Casey, so I take the first year into account, and I see that we did make the playoffs, but we got annihilated in every game. Now I'm not saying that you need to beat Milwaukee in any of the games, but it would be nice, but at least make it close, like when Stan Van Gundy did when we played Cleveland and got swept, but every game was extremely close. I don't like the lack of effort, but we didn't have Blake Griffin. We had that boy come out on one leg. He still was dropping 20 because Blake is an OG. You know, he embodies that Pistons blood. But it's this year that I have an issue with. I mean, it was a shitstorm, basically, because he didn't, it's a lot of things he didn't do. Okay, for one, you didn't know who you wanted to be your point guard. You refused to start Derrick Rose. Then you later on started Derrick Rose, like I told you in the beginning. You didn't play Svi Mikhailuk and Luke Kennard at all when they were healthy. You didn't give Sekou. You gave Svi more opportunities than Sekou, and Sekou is the #1 overall pick. I mean,
Yeah.
what you did, and then you took 40 games to allow Sekou to come into the league when after the first 2-3 weeks he should have been in the NBA playing. He needed those extra reps to get used to the game. And I don't like his rotations. And I don't think the team had an identity. We weren't really good on offense. We weren't really good on defense. I mean, we could score the ball and we could shoot the ball. But what was the identity of the team? He didn't establish one. And the year before, he didn't establish any identity. Like we're a team without any identity. I know we had some trades with Drummond, and then we went into tanking mode. But the main thing that Noma said that I agree with, my brother, it was plenty of games that we could have won, and Dwayne Casey just coached us out of the game, so we lost the games. And it was at least about 8 games like that. And I'm being nice saying 8. So all in all,
Yes,
I'm
you
giving
are.
him yes, I'm just saying, like, man, it's a lot of games that he threw. This is my problem with Dwayne Casey. My main problem. He plays favorites. And I know every coach does that to an extent, but sometimes what you doing is just stupid. When like all that time you had Bruce Brown over Luke Kennard, you just being stupid. And this year he did it a little bit, playing favorites with Svi and Sekou, playing like putting his guys that he likes out there. That's why Thon Maker even got minutes because he loves Thon Maker. And I just when you're playing favorites and it's causing us to lose basketball games, I'm gonna have a problem with that. And I know he had some injuries, but like I said, Derrick Rose had us in plenty of games. You know what I'm saying? Like we was in a lot of games and we just like choked it at the end. Injuries is a part, so I'm not gonna blame him for not making the playoffs with no Blake Griffin. But he's getting a C- for me because I'm not happy with his rotations. I'm not happy the way he treated Sekou. Like, man, you would have thought Sekou was the most hyped player in the draft. You would have thought he was. They said he was Zion or something. The way that Dwayne Casey was going coming at that man, and I just didn't like it, man. I don't like how he was treating a lot of the young players, but it is what it is. We
Telling,
got a couple more years. It's just like
tell,
it was like I said, it was a shitstorm. Like the Pistons were so discombobulated, and my problem is if a team suck, you suck. If you Cleveland, you know they suck and you know they're gonna be trash. So you're not worried about it. But it's teams like ours where we play up, we play down, we suck constantly for 2 weeks, and then we'll win 3 games. It was no continuity. We couldn't establish whether we wanted to be a good team or a bad team or an average team. Because sometimes we wasn't even average, sometimes we wasn't good, and sometimes we weren't bad. It's just a lot of confusion and decision, and I know injuries play a part in all of that. But my thing is, what is our identity? What have you established? What have you built? It's only been 2 years, but coaches have done things in 2 years. I don't want to hear it. Nick Nurse got a chip with the Wayne Casey squad. Budenholzer came over there, turned the Bucks into a 60-win team. So I don't want to hear none of that. C- out here, man.
Going through what you guys have said, reading a lot of the comments in here, no one seems to be giving Dwayne Casey an A. And don't look at me because I'm not doing it either.
I'm about to be like, Drew, you can
That's called drama. You got to hype it up. No, realistically, though, for me, I'm right around the C to the B range, C plus, B minus, give or take. his rotations need work. When you're in a underdog matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks and you put Thon Maker, let me make that clear, on the league MVP, a guy, if he's not the best player, he is top 3. You put Thon Maker on that guy in the playoffs. It took for Blake Griffin with one goddamn leg to come in there to try to stop Giannis. And I was there for game 3, man, when Blake came back. It was hype, man. It was so awesome. If you guys ever get a chance to go to a playoff game, I recommend it because the atmosphere is just crazy. Blake was on one goddamn leg shutting down Giannis. Illerson Ilyasova went crazy and could not miss. Brook Lopez went crazy. Blake came in there and did his job. But to put Thon Maker on that guy, God, bro, that was so embarrassing to watch, man. Giannis put him over one leg and was just spanking him left and right, bro. It was embarrassing, man. I mean,
it was
dude,
like Giannis literally guarding a child in the street. Like, you like, why is Giannis guarding that 5'7" child? Like, why he backing him down like that?
Oh, you mean
That's what
Langston
Thon Maker
Galloway when he had Langston Galloway on Giannis?
oh my God, bro.
Or how about when Thon was in the air and trying to stop him from dunking, and I literally see Thon bounce off him when one come the other way. I said, "What is this?"
I mean, dude, we didn't really have anyone to put on Giannis, but Thon Maker was our best option. I mean, come on, man.
Well, Dre slowed him down a little bit, but that was better. But the problem was Dre has other things to do. So it's like, dude, what did you? Wayne Casey, bro, and then you tell
but look, Nomis, what you should have done, and we don't want to interrupt Drew's what he's talking about, so I'll let you go after this. Is it's better to put Thon Maker on Brook Lopez and you put Dre on Giannis.
Yes,
that's what you're supposed to do, but he's a fucking idiot. Go ahead.
Right, I didn't know you was thinking the same thing. I was saying it the entire time.
Thon Maker can guard Brook Lopez. Brook will still cook him.
Well, Dre's still getting smoked too, though. He ain't keeping up with Giannis,
but no, he can guard Giannis if he doesn't have to worry about Brook Lopez. He had to worry about both of them, and then he had to worry about Chris Middleton too. But if you just be like, Dre, you guard Giannis this whole game, I mean, he'll get cooked, but it's not gonna be Thon Maker. It's not gonna be barbecue chicken every time Gary T scores. It's not gonna be that. You put him on Brook Lopez. You don't put him on Thon Maker. You put the best player on the team that was healthy, because we know Blake the best. You put our second best player on freaking Giannis, especially when he's 6'10".
Right. And then you don't tell Christian Wood that he don't want no smoke with Giannis. You're supposed to build your team, they ego up to get them to play like dogs. You don't want no smoke
with Giannis. I'm gonna put the French rookie, who's the youngest player in the NBA, on Giannis instead. Idiot.
This is why we can't give him an A, man. I've only talked for 2 minutes. Like, I got you guys like thinking. This is what I like, man. But I mean, that's just the beginning of it, man. I don't know how much about this is as the fancy's fault. I mean, trading away the 30th pick where you could have had another shooter on the team, straight up for a guy that we might not ever see in the NBA, and diabetes. We may never see him. And again, that's not Dwayne Casey's fault. I mean, I'm sure that's more as the fancy's fault. But they're hand to hand.
I don't know. I think Dwayne Casey had a part in that.
That might be 50-50.
Because if I'm Dwayne Casey, I'm like, get me Kevin Porter Jr. I'm banging on the table. Get me Kevin Porter Jr. And I swear, if he was adamant about getting Kevin Porter, we would have Kevin Porter. Can y'all imagine if we had Kevin Porter? Man, I hate that, bro.
Yeah,
he's another playmaker right there.
Especially how high I was on him coming out the draft. Me and Bravo was very high on Kevin. Yeah. We're like, no, this dude's gonna be a baller. Like, he can play. And they was just like, no.
Well, don't forget Carson Edwards was there too.
Oh, exactly. Don't get J-Mo started again. Oh, here we go. It's 2019 all over again.
Go ahead.
The thing that pissed me off the most about Dwayne Casey this year was, this offseason we were talking about, the Pistons need to take the ball out of Blake's hands. We got to make sure we do a good job of protecting him. And then as soon as Blake Griffin comes back, we know he's not 100% healthy. We watching the game, J-Mo hit me up. I don't remember if we were on above the rim or if he texted me. He was just like, dude, I can tell Blake's not healthy. I'm like, dude, I think he's just rusty. No, he was not healthy. And what did Dwayne Casey do? he put all the responsibility back on Blake Griffin. We have Derrick Rose. We had Andre Drummond. We have people like Luke Kennard and Mihailuk who needed the opportunities that they eventually kind of got, I guess. I mean, I don't know. But then you had Christian Wood and Sekou who needed more opportunities. You had all these young guys that needed opportunities, but no. Because Blake Griffin's the big name, I'm not knocking Blake. I love Blake. Don't take that the wrong way. But he wasn't healthy. He should have never came back. But because we were losing games left and right, you put the ball in his hands and potentially hurt Blake even worse. It's just ridiculous to me that a coach would do that to a player. You know, let the man heal. If you were below 500 and he came back healthy, there was a good opportunity the way that the East shaped up that we would have been okay to bounce back because the East is still terrible right now. That's why when someone player like Blake Griffin, who's injury prone, can change a team in the East to make them a playoff contender because the East is so damn bad. It's not even funny. It's really not. It's just it does not sit well with me that you knew Blake wasn't healthy and you still put the ball in his hands and still did Blake ball, put him in the corner, let him go do his little 3-point shot, let him go post him up, you let him get double teamed, don't help him out, don't tell him to pass the ball. It's Blake or bust. And that is why I can't give Dwayne Casey a higher grade than a B because you just can't win that way, man. In today's NBA, you have to move the ball, you have to pass. The NBA is pretty much cracked down on isolation basketball unless you're a player like Kevin Durant or LeBron, who no matter who's guarding you, yeah, you can get your shot off. I mean, there's just so few players in the league who can play iso ball. But even then, Kyrie's not winning a championship by himself.
Or James Harden, for that matter, the best ISO player probably ever.
Facts. They need other players. They need to play team ball. And Mike D'Antoni's a hell of a coach for James Harden and Westbrook, but they don't play defense. And it's really either James Harden's got the ball right now or it's Westbrook. And you can't win that way. You just can't. Now, if they start playing team ball and they start passing, then it's a different story. But they don't play defense. It's you just can't. We can't win championships playing iso ball. And before Kobe passed away, rest in peace, Kobe. He was criticizing this and he was emphasizing this is that Kobe was one of the best players I've ever watched live. I had the privilege of watching Kobe's great career pretty much through my entire life and his entire career. He knew when to pass the ball. He knew when to give it to Shaq. He knew when to give it to Pau Gasol. And, we talk about the 81 point per game, but he knew when to set his teammates up. He knew when it was time for them to carry. But, when they weren't getting it done, it was give the ball to me. I got this. There's a time and a place for it. You can't win championships playing Blake ball. Go ahead, Noam.
Yeah. Well, first off, what's up to CA3 Sports Talking building? Subscribe to the young brother. The other thing that we forget, and I can't even believe I'm about to say this, but we can't even use the Reggie Jackson excuse. Reggie was gone for then a half the season. You didn't use not one of our younger point guards to help Derrick Rose out. You just made Bruce, who you came out and said was not a point guard, but you still made him play point guard, which was the most ridiculous thing ever.
Well, look, we can pile on all you want. I'm not going to defend Dwayne Casey, but who is he going to put with like unless you didn't run sweet at point? Who is he really going to put at point? Because Kyrie Thomas also was hurt. So we didn't really have any point guard, and Jordan Bone wasn't ready yet. We didn't really have any other point guards.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I'm saying, like, what was I noticed, like, right before Luke got hurt, I kept noticing, like, I would see too many times where it felt like Bruce was out there mainly doing all the moving the ball. I'm like, I think we should get that to Luke more. I'm like, what is he doing? Maybe I'm just adding on extra vent. I'm like, really?
You right. Well, I mean, what's his name? Luke is a better passer than Bruce. He averaged 4 assists this year. Luke can pass the ball, and like I've always said, the fact that he can shoot the ball makes it easier for him to pass the ball because he draws defenders because he can shoot the ball so well. Same thing with like I like how I like Speed. I say that he could be a point guard. Maybe I'm being crazy, but. I mean, he turned the ball over a lot this year, but that's this year. He got to get used to handling the ball. But I wanted to play him at point because in the summer league, he looked very fine at point. But Bruce Brown is the favoritism that I was alluding to earlier, man. He's the favorite of the young players. Bruce Brown is his favorite player, so he's gonna put him out there no matter what.
Well,
we need
JMO,
to give a point guard to Sekou.
JMO, do me a favor. What day is it?
Bro, you already know it's Free Smoke Friday, bro.
And it says right there on the banner is Free Smoke Saturday, but this was because of the last minute thing. I think we've had a great turnout. You guys have been awesome in the chat. Appreciate you rocking with us. But now it is your time to shine. I'm not rushing this. We could be on for another 2 hours. I don't think we will. But whatever you guys want us to answer that we haven't got to yet, now is your guys' opportunity to be incorporated onto the show. Put that down in the comment section, and we will answer the questions to the best of our ability. And if anybody watching, rather if it's right now live or maybe later during your day or your week, if you guys want to come on Above the Rim, let me know. My links to Instagram and Twitter are down in the description. You can hit me up. I know Gnome and JMO also have Twitter. You can hit them up. We don't have a problem with you guys coming on the show. We want to get more of you guys involved and engaged with us. So be sure to let us know if you do. And if you don't want to come on the show and you want us to talk about something, you can also hit me up there and say, hey, I would like to hear this. As simple as that. I'm not going to bite. We're all cool. eDog1234, what's going on, man? He said, who's winning the chip in 2021?
Oh, you gonna love this.
Go ahead, JMO. Take it away.
If healthy, man, I ain't gonna even say that. That's crazy.
You were gonna say the Pelicans, weren't you?
I was gonna say the Pelicans, bro,
I knew it.
but I'm not gonna go there yet. They gonna go to the Western Conference Finals probably. You know what? I'm going with Giannis, man. And if it's not Giannis, I'm gonna go with the Rockets, bro. It's not that I don't believe in the Lakers, but I think the Rockets gonna figure it out. There's never been two MVPs on the same team that ain't never won a chip. They're gonna figure out how to win one, and maybe it's that year.
First time for everything. Nomus, who's winning the chip next year?
Oh my God. I gotta still go with right now. I gotta go with the other LA team. I gotta go with where Quiet. I gotta go, or even not them. I can see a scenario where it might come down to Giannis, but if he can't get past Toronto somehow, still, which he may be able to do it this time because Quiet's not there. I have to say somewhere in that range.
Yeah, all right. I
Bravo.
want to do the last question afterwards.
What last question?
Oh yeah. This is to the panel. We can start with you, Bravo. What position do the Pistons need the most besides point guard?
Point guard.
No,
point
I said
guard.
Besides point guard.
Another point guard.
No, you can't get a point guard.
We need another point guard. No, I'm not taking anything but a point guard. Trust me. I mean, a center maybe. I don't know.
I definitely think center will be viable. What about you, Nomus?
I'll go about. I say either center or either another forward, another small forward. I want to say small forward, but then again, maybe another power forward too. It's somewhere in between center and forward.
Yeah, just to one thing about this, who's going to win 2021? I think Golden State Warriors are possible. Why not?
I mean, I'm not going to downplay that. We know how Clay and Steph are winning by themselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm not going to downplay that.
Don't go too far.
I'm not going to downplay that.
Well, I think the Pistons need a small forward for another position. But JMO, what do you think, man? It's your question. I forgot about it. My fault.
No, I'm going with a center. I agree with the small forward thing.
Yeah.
But we don't really have a center. Like, we have a lot of needs on this team. But if we're just talking about what's on paper right now, we have a point guard. His name is Derrick Rose. Not saying it's the ideal situation. We got a shooting guard. That's Luke. We got a small forward. That's Sekou. I think Svi is just a specialist wing player. I don't really want to put him to a specific position. And then we have power forwards with Christian Wood and Blake. And I know Christian Wood can like play center, but he's not really a center. The only center is Thon Baker, and that's not gonna work.
No, and John Henson. Ugh.
Oh my god, man, he ain't gonna be on this team. Like I don't even think like, he ain't gonna be on this team. But we don't really have a center. Like every other position, we have players that we could put there, but center we really don't have any players at all. Like unless you want Christian Wood playing center, he's not no center, man. You know he not. So we need a center badly. We just got to pick up one in free agency or something.
Bravo. I'm going to start this one off with you. From Marvin Tolbert says, how many legit starters do you think we have on the roster right now? Meaning they can go anywhere and start or be considered to start.
It's a good question. I think Christian Wood is a legit power forward starter. Maybe if right now at this point only maybe Christian Wood and maybe D Rose. These are only two. I mean, if you think next few years, I'm thinking maybe Sekou can be there. And I don't know about Luke. If he really step up next year, he can be also a solid starter for us. I don't really see this team right now as it is, like really transform to the one we need, except Christian Wood, who is really a potential all-star next year. The rest of the guys, they need really solid work out in the off season. So that's why we need talent in this team. That's why we need a good, solid drafting, and we might need a couple of years of drafting, not only 1 year. I don't know how many good players you need on this team because we don't have a solid all-star right now, except maybe next year. I'm not going to talk about the veterans, D Rose or Blake Griffin. They're probably like going to get out of the Pistons in the next couple of years. But I think in terms of the current players, or potentially if we re-sign, Christian Wood is the only solid all-star player we could have in the next few years. That's why we're really in tough situation. We need like desperate talent. We need build-up.
Disrespectful.
Yes, I am disrespectful because we're not good enough so far.
like you're so disrespectful, man.
We are not good enough so far.
I mean,
I feel like Luke could start on any team unless your shooting guard is a superstar. Straight up.
Well, that's not every team. He's not going to be starting on Golden State or the Warriors or the Rockets.
He doesn't play defense, J-Mo. That's his problem.
It does not matter. JJ Redick been starting a lot of time.
He defends better than Luke. He defends better than Luke Kennard.
I don't know about that. I watched JJ Redick for a whole season.
I don't know about
that. JJ Redick don't play no defense. So no, Luke could start on probably 20 or more of the teams. Derrick Rose definitely, Christian Wood, Blake Griffin's like, what do you mean? He's starting on a lot of teams. And I would leave it at that for now.
No, I'm gonna throw this one to you from Noshi Stone. What's going on, Noshi? Will we trade Blake next year if he's not like Blake from last year, meaning All-Star Blake that led us to the playoffs?
There is a very possibility, but see, it only comes down to if that contract. It comes down to really the other team because you got to remember that contract versus his health. Like, who's going to want to pick that up? I can't really see nobody still want to. I ain't gonna say it's too early in the contract, but it's still like, well, he still had 2 big years on this contract that you got to hope for him to get healthy. It would have to come like after. Like next season, wouldn't it? I think he's on a contract after next year still.
He's got a player option.
Oh, okay. I mean, it depends. It varies. Only way we can be honestly at the way to trade him is if he's already fully healthy and playing in all-star form. I don't think those teams is going to want to pick him up while he's injured. That's a waste of money. That's the way I look at it.
J-Mo, man, who is your GOAT sixth man coming in from Marvin Tolbert?
Like the greatest ever?
The greatest of all time.
The greatest six man of all time is Manu Ginobili.
How did you say? Hold on, wait. I'm terrible with names. How did you pronounce that again?
Manu Ginobili.
Ginobili. You pronounce that weird. It's funny. I just like hearing you say that. Say it again.
Bruh, dog, that's how you pronounce his name, dog. But I would say Manu. I know you could go with like the scores, the Lou Williams, the Jamal Crawfords. I'm sure some guys back in the day when I was like 3 or 4 years old that I'm not mentioning. But Manu, man, Manu's basically look. I feel like there's different kinds of superstars. Every type of superstar doesn't have to score points. Like Jason Kidd, he was giving you 14, 15, 16, but he was a superstar. And it was
Mhm.
not nothing. And I feel like Manu in his prime was a superstar off that bench. You can disagree with me all you want, but how many clutch shots that has Manu hit for the Spurs during their championship run? How many times has he ran up to score? And that's why the Spurs were so good because you had a superstar in Tim Duncan, and then you had some mini stars. That's what I'll call them, and who could be a superstar in a series like Tony Parker who won an MVP or Manu, and then you had Greg Pop and great role players. I think Manu's the best ever. I think he's definitely the best six man.
Bling B says Miles Turner question mark.
Yeah.
If you're referring to the Pistons going ahead and trying to sign for him or trade for him,
Hell
hell
yeah.
to the yes. I mean, this guy can rim protect. He can shoot threes. He fits the modern mold of an NBA big man. Does anyone else say no? Then the jury rests its case. All in favor of Miles Turner. It has to be a good deal, though. Don't overpay him. Marvin Tolbert says, question for JMO. JMO only can answer this. Manu Ginobili better than Robert Horry, Vinnie Johnson, or Vernon Maxwell? Question mark.
I don't know if he's better than Vinnie Johnson, but he's contributed to more championships. I know Robert Horry got 7 rings, but he's only hit. I won't say only, but he's only had like a few iconic shots, and one of them was for the Spurs. But Manu contributed to more championships, but I'm not gonna. It's hard for me to say he better than Vinnie Johnson though. But I still feel like he the best six man ever, man. Manu saved the Spurs ass so many times. Like I know we remember, like man.
Skylar Lee wants to know who is Detroit's starting five next year? Question mark. Personally, I think we have to wait on draft day because again, if we have a top 4 pick, that player almost needs to start. And then, we might go out in free agency and get a good player that we'd be like, all right, he's better than Tony Snell, or all right, that'd be the player I would start over Luke Kennard or Mihailuk, or just whatever. We have to wait and see. But Bravo, this early talking next year, do you have a starting five for Detroit?
Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin, Christian Wood, Svi Mihailuk, maybe, or it's V or Luke, and then Sekou Doumbouya.
Alrighty. E-Dog wants to know, could we trade for Portland's young talent, JMO?
What young talent? If you start, look, man, hey, now if you're talking about Simmons, I don't know his first name, but if you're talking about Simmons, then yes, I would take Simmons. But he's like the only one that I really think is that good is Simmons. I know they got a couple other guys. Yeah, Anthony Simmons. I think they got a couple other guys, but I don't see anything in them. But I do see something in Simmons though. We got Real Detroit Lions fan in the building. What's good, Real? Make sure you guys like that video if you haven't already, man, and make sure
I saw an
old
question. There was a question in the comments an old time ago, like about a few lines ago. It says, "What do you guys think about Jordan Bone?" This guy from Rep for the Motor City. What do you guys think about Jordan Bone, Dante Hall, Lewis King? Should we re-sign those players over new veterans?
Absolutely. Well, we should resign them, but I don't think they probably
I'm kind of mean, but I can care less about all of them except for Jordan.
Yeah.
I think I care about Lewis King. Luke King looks really nicer than the rest, to be honest.
Y'all love Lewis King, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, he's tall. He's athletic. He's tall. He is. I'm gonna say he got the body like 6 feet. He's as tall as Sekou, so like a 6'8", 6'7".
I mean,
And
Sekou's 6'9". He's not as tall as Sekou.
and just speaking of this current draft, I know this current draft is not good. I heard so keeping those old guys from last year draft, which is a lot better than this year draft. I think it's a reasonable thing to do. So I think I'd keep considering all of them back in here. I don't think we should bring Brandon Knight or Henson.
Like, I'm not going to trip if Lewis King and Dante Hart don't make the team, but I still want to give Jordan Bone an opportunity because he's a young guard. I mean, he didn't really get any opportunity. I want to give him an opportunity, him and Kyrie Thomas, because we know D Rose is not a permanent solution, and we're going to get a point guard in the draft, but we still don't have an established backup. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give Jordan Bone and Kyrie Thomas fight for that final spot, but Dante Hall and Lewis King, I mean, I might keep Lewis King if I don't want to get a small forward, but
Langston Galloway, please don't resign him, please.
What if it's a team-friendly deal? What if it's a 1 year, $1 million deal?
Drew,
$1 million.
Get rid of this dude, bro. Every shot that he taking, Sekou, Svi, or Luke should be taken. Straight up.
You know, if they do that they're just going to send another person like Galloway to take those shots. It's not going to be Luke. It's not going to be Mihaly.
I'm praying they don't.
Come on, man.
They give them opportunity, man. You got to give these guys opportunity.
I'm with you, but you know they're not.
Bro, like, I guarantee you're right. We get rid of them, then we going to sign Etwan Moore, bum ass and shit. And then, like, we're going to be like, bro, why is Etwan out there taking shots? Oh, and Dwayne Casey going to be like, oh, yeah, he's a vet. He can shoot the ball. I like his game. Like,
Last question before we transition to final thoughts from Marvin Tolbert is who do you feel would have the best package for Blake Griffin in return? His option is Phoenix. This is for the whole panel. Me personally, I don't know which teams are seeking Blake Griffin and what we are going to get best in return. If anything, if we are going to trade Blake, I think it will be on draft day to move up in the draft and potentially have 2 first-round draft picks. But you have to look at what you give up for Blake Griffin. You have to, which you're not going to get, but get similar draft value or get back in return what you gave up for him, which was Tobias and a first, which was a lot at the time, which that pick turned out to be Alexander. Yeah, well,
and Avery Bradley.
Right. Those 2 players are good, but Tobias and Alexander is pretty much what you got for Blake Griffin, which Alexander's averaging 20-plus points per game this year. You're not going to get that in return, but you at least need to get an Alexander or a Tobias player type in return. I think that the Knicks are really desperate for just a name to draw people in. They're going to have a top pick. I think that they might be willing to trade for a Blake Griffin. You can sucker them, get their first. You can throw in somebody like a Bruce Brown to sweeten the deal so they get a young prospect. And I think that, the Knicks are dumb enough to do something like that. But bravo, man. Let's start with you. If we're trading Blake, who is the best partner for us? Who's going to give us the most in return?
Who's going to give us the most in return? There's a lot of teams. I don't know. But I don't know. So if you look at Blake is a really good player, great player. If he's going to return back to a close level from last year, I think a lot of teams would want him, But I don't understand why the Golden State Warriors should not really chip Draymond Green and maybe expiring contract and get Blake Griffin. He would serve a lot in Golden State, and it would fit their timelines a lot. It makes a lot of sense. So we have to trade him to a team that makes a lot of sense, and the team would want him. So that's how I look at it. I don't think Phoenix, I mean, look at young teams like Phoenix, Sacramento, Atlanta. They give us probably the best return. But at the same time, you got to think of what teams benefit from Blake the most. If you ask me, Golden State Warriors. Other team, in my opinion, the Celtics. I mean, definitely they should take them. They should take Blake. I don't know why they would be dumb opinion, in my opinion, just because of health issue. I think it's just I think Blake is going to return as a good player. It's just a matter of when. And those teams should chip in and try to get Blake Griffin, and that's how I think about it. Best return, maybe Phoenix. I don't know if it's Phoenix is the best return. I think if you ask me, which teams which probably gonna really significantly transform in the next 3 years is Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks is really going to be desperate. Trae Young is going to be desperate for a talent on his team. So if their team doesn't transform, they're going to get really like desperate for a star like Blake Griffin. I don't know if it matches. Definitely doesn't matches their timeline, but hey, they might be looking for something like desperate in the next year or two.
No, Miss Man, what team is going to give the Detroit Pistons the best trade package, most in return for a player like Blake Griffin?
Well, okay. Well, it's like to me. Well, you kind of took my answer somewhat earlier with the Knicks. And the reason why I would say that is because if you're the Pistons, you're trying to get younger at the same time, and you're trying to move up in draft. So let's say you go, if the Pistons have like the 5th pick, and you just know LaMelo's probably going to be gone in the top 5, that's a potential way to move up and still probably take a very good player wherever they do have on their roster and bring them over here as well. Let's say it's Mitchell Robinson and the 1st round pick and maybe possibly something else. You can take that asset and get LaMelo and possibly, and then draft LaMelo. That's the best one, I think, as far as a team that's probably losing, but for a team that's probably trying to really make the playoffs or win, I want to say, oh, God, I can't really think of one. I mean, I know people saying Golden State, but I personally don't see it. But, I mean, that's as far as I can go with it. Maybe like a losing team like the Knicks or somebody.
JMO, before we wrap up, final thoughts, your final say on this. Which team in the National Basketball Association is going to give us the most in return if we traded Blake Griffin to them?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be any of these bad teams like the Knicks or the Hawks. Because why would they trade for Blake Griffin if you're a bad team? It doesn't make sense. He's not gonna elevate you to becoming a great team. I mean, he could help Trae Young, but they could still miss the playoffs. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think teams like the Celtics, like Sacramento with Buddy Hield and Bogdanovich over there are in play. And I do think Golden State is in play, but I don't know if Golden State is going to want to pay Blake's contract. They would have to move Draymond's contract and some other stuff. And they got some young talent. But I think the Celtics, they need a little bit more help. I mean, I know Gordon Hayward contract is big, but it's not as big as Blake's. And if we wanted to take him back to play small forward, maybe that's something that we think about. And Phoenix doesn't really have anybody with Kelly Oubre. And I mean, they ain't giving us an Ayton. And they're not giving us Devin Booker. So I would have to go with like the Celtics or Sacramento. Golden State would probably be a third, but I don't think it would be with like the Hawks or the Knicks. Why would those teams want Blake Griffin, especially the Knicks? I know the Knicks are stupid. We all know they're stupid.
Yeah, we know. That's why.
They got Julius
They're
Randle.
desperate. No, dude. So the Knicks and the Hawks are desperate.
I'll take Julius Randle over here.
They got Julius Randle. They're not about to get Blake if you got Julius Randle. You're not getting Blake.
The Knicks are desperate to make the playoffs. They do anything right now, I think.
I'm telling you, dog. Blake could be like, "I'll retire." You send me to the Knicks.
Oh, they give us a lot in return. I don't really care.
I think they should take him. They should take him. He's going to be excellent fit for New York City, and I think they need to make the playoffs. They need to take Blake and give us their picks.
All their picks. Like Blake agent.
All their picks.
Like, oh, he's going to be great over there. He's going to be very good. I mean, like if he went to the Knicks, they probably would be a 9th seed. But come on, man.
That's not where we wanted to
hold on.
Question wasn't where we wanted to send Blake. Is what's going to give us the most in return. What's that, JMO?
No, I was going to answer one more question because it's not basketball related.
Go ahead.
He said, what do you guys want to draft for 3? I want Jeff Okuda. No, you don't want Jeff Okuda. And I want Isaiah Simmons. And most of us want Isaiah Simmons unless you want somebody else.
Jelly Bro, if you want to hear the DSA's thoughts on the Lions, you're going to want to subscribe to all the DSA members in the description because trust me, what is it? We were under 6 days away for the NFL draft, give or take. We'll be finding out who we're taking. We got mock drafts coming. They're up already. Roundtable, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. We've been talking draft for what seems like 3 months now. Lions fans, we're ready. DSA's got you covered. Round 1 is going to be on Luke G's channel, so you're gonna want to subscribe to Luke G so you know who we're taking at 3 or if we're trading it. So be sure to hit that notification bell on all of our guys. But let's go ahead and transition to final thoughts. Bravo, thank you for coming on last minute. I did not plan it for it to be a round table or above the rim. I was just gonna drink and talk to the peeps, but appreciate you for coming on. What are your final thoughts for tonight?
A good show. Really make it short. Make it like very like targeted towards the draft. I like that. We talked about it. Um, Hopefully, we'll talk more about the possible big boards and coming up in the next few weeks because I think we got to talk about this more frequently. Which player we're gonna pick, and I'm hopefully that the NBA season is gonna resume. I'm hearing them good news. Hopefully, we'll get some um, joy back in the month of June, July, maybe. Let's go Pistons.
Thank you again, Bravo, for coming on. Nomis J, thank you for coming on as well. What are your final thoughts on today's show?
Oh man, this is actually a very fun show. I wish we could name it Free Sips Friday, but you know, like Bravo said, man, maybe I don't know if the NBA probably will come back. I'm not sure. We have to keep our eyes and ears posted on what's out there. And as far as what goes on in basketball, man, we go. Hopefully, I actually feel a lot better about LaMelo than I initially did when we were initially talking about him. I wasn't like the main one who wanted him, but over the last week or more, for some reason, I like turned my attention. Like, I really would like to get LaMelo because it's like, why not? If this is if this is one of those draft classes that's not that good, give me the best player available. Then, if that's the case, which is probably more likely LaMelo. So, and we do need a point guard, so we might as well take advantage of what we can, especially since this is the Pistons and they never take advantage of what they should have took advantage of. So I would like to see them do that. And y'all stay safe out there, man. Stay at home unless you got to go out there for important things. I know it's looking like winter again outside, but God bless everybody in the chat and on the panel. Good evening.
I hate Michigan weather. I absolutely hate it. JMO, man, before you go to final thoughts, who wins a basketball tournament between us four right now?
Man, 313 J-Mo. What you mean? What you mean? I know, Drew, you're tall, but I'm too quick, bro. Same thing with Nomis. I'm too quick, bro. I'm like lightning out there. I used to run routes.
Doesn't matter if you're fast if you can't hit layups.
Hey, man, hit you with the reverse.
Don't get
And I
don't
can
catch
shoot
you
too, though.
shooting.
I ain't gonna say I'm some great like basketball player and I'll bust everybody ass, but I definitely can shoot and I will hit you with the reverse. And I will hit you with the Euro. But I gotta work on the Euro.
CA3, you're not on the panel, bud.
No, CA3 probably would win, but you ain't on the panel.
What are your final thoughts on the show, Jamal?
I want to say, Dwayne Casey, please do better. That C- was me being nice to you. Trust me. So, and I do want us to build a better basketball team in the offseason. I don't want us to, like basically give up and be trash for a couple years and try to rebuild, because I feel like we have a lot of building blocks. We just need to add the star power to it, like a Christian Wood, like a Blake Griffin, and maybe some other better players. Go out there and get you a center. And it really, dog.
Nah, bro, I won that basketball tournament though.
He had to come. See y'all. This is all love, man. This is why we love the DSA. CA3 had to come on the panel to just talk smack about how he gonna lose the basketball tournament. Like, but I was gonna say, but yeah, I want us to go get a center in free agency, because I think it's a hole there. And LaMelo, number 1 on the board. Number 2 on the board is Edwards. Number 3 on the board is Killian Hayes. Number 4 on the board is Wiseman. Hopefully, we end up with one of those players to help change our team and make it for the better. And shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Oh my goodness, CA3, you're ridiculous, man.
Yeah, man. If it wasn't for school, man, I'll be on here, man. But I got work to do, man. Sad.
Well, since you came on, why would you win the basketball tournament between us 5 right now?
I mean, first of all, I'm the youngest, so I got the I got the most probably skill, most energy, most athleticism. But
You the youngest, bro. I'm not 45. Like,
Yeah, I was about to say, bro, what? I'm not old.
nah, and first of all, I'm gonna work you. Like I can hit that. I'm gonna hit that three in your face. I'm gonna hit that three in your face.
Boy, think he like Steph Curry with the shot. He said, "I'm gonna work you with the step back."
Yeah, bro, I'm nice though, man. I used to.
All right, I
used to
just
be
know
like,
that. I just want you to know, man. You hand checking street ball, so I want to see you work me when you get in this defense.
oh, you
That-
hand checking.
that-
Oh, you hand checking.
that defense, bro. What you mean? It's street ball. It is what it is, bro. You might get tripped. Might end up with a bloody lip. Let's see you get back up and try to keep shooting.
Don't bring your wallet either, man. You'd be losing $20.
Right. No, this is fun though. This is fun, man. That'd be fun to record though. Like honestly.
I'm down. I'm definitely down.
Yeah,
That'd be so fun. Then we can run twos. Oh, dude, we can make a shitload of videos. I'm down for that.
It'll have to be a time that I'll be in Michigan though. I'll be over there sometimes.
No, bro, it'd be in the summer, bro. You know, I'm gonna go to the gym for a while. See, this summer is canceled, so can't work on my game, just like Jason Tatum and Giannis apparently. So it is what it is.
Well, with all that being said, appreciate everybody in the chat for rocking with us. Be sure you guys share the video, tell a friend, tell a loved one, or just tell a coworker or a classmate, whoever, to come check out the DSA because we're more than just basketball. We got you covered for Lions, but it's always fun to come on Above the Rim and talk hoops with you fellas. So greatly appreciate all that. Thank you guys for coming on the show once more. And to end the show, I want to say this. I may be drunk. I may not be drunk. But there's one thing I always know, and that's hoops. No matter how wasted or how sober I am, I know basketball, and I know it well. And that's the bottom line because Detroit Drew said so. We'll see you guys later. Peace.